We are less than a month away from the start of the XFL season. With a new league, it means some new names as well as some old names. In this series, we will be going team by team, previewing the head coach of each team, as well as some names you may recognize either from college football or the NFL. In this episode, we will be talking about the Los Angeles Wildcats.
Where should I go now? 6 feet under.
Before we get into this, check out my previews of the Seattle Dragons and DC Defenders. I will link them in the upper right corner. Also follow me on Twitter at JRO'Brien_28 and check out the podcast where we talk about the NFL, XFL, and college football on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or at embracethegrind.org. The man leading the Wildcats at head coach will be Winston Moss. Moss was the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers from 2007 to 2018. Moss won a Super Bowl with the Packers but was relieved of his duties when Mike McCarthy was fired. Luis Perez, the quarterback for Los Angeles, has a Hollywood backstory. Perez has to be one of the craziest stories I have ever actually researched. Perez started going to school at Southwestern College, Ajugo in California, where he decided to walk on to his football team. He had no high school film or experience at the high school level. He started the season 9th out of 9 quarterbacks on the depth chart, and the coaches tried to get him to change positions, but he refused. He was able to work his way up to second on the depth chart due to transfers and injuries. In the third week of the season, the starter got hurt and Perez came in and threw for 250 yards, 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, also leading them to the win. Perez would play half the season before getting hurt. The next season, Perez led his team to win the conference championship and earned himself all conference honors. Perez did not get a Division I offer and decided to attend Texas A&M Commerce, a D2 school. He became the first Mexican-American and Hispanic player to start for Texas A&M Commerce. While at Texas A&M Commerce, he would win the Harlan Hill Trophy, the Heisman of the D2 level, in 2017, as well as leading his team to the national championship. He finished his career with a 22-3 record as a starter with 8,327 yards, 78 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions, while completing 67.5% of his passes in 2 seasons. His senior year, he threw for 5,001 yards, 46 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. He would go undrafted in the 2018 draft and was later signed by the Los Angeles Rams. He was drafted by the Birmingham Iron of the AAF, and in 8 games he started 7, where he would throw 1,460 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. After the AAF folded, he would then spend time with the Eagles and Lions. Perez will be competing for the starting job against Josh Johnson. Johnson attended the University of San Diego, where he would throw for 9,699 yards, 113 passing touchdowns while completing 68% of his passes. He would also rush for 1,864 yards and 19 touchdowns. Johnson would be drafted in the 5th round of the 2008 draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Johnson would become a journeyman in the NFL. He would spend time with the 49ers twice, Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals twice, New York Jets, Indianapolis Colts, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants, Houston Texans, Oakland Raiders, Washington Redskins, and Detroit Lions. If you are counting that at home, that is 13 different teams, 40% of the league. In between the 49ers and Browns, Johnson would spend time with the Sacramento Mountain Lions of the United Football League. Johnson would play in 33 NFL games, starting 8 of them. He has thrown for 1,632 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, with a 55.2% completion percentage. After being cut by the Lions on September 17th, Johnson would join the XFL. In November, the Lions tried to re-sign Johnson after Matthew Stafford got hurt, but the XFL would not allow him because he had already signed a contract. A recognizable name on the roster is their running back Elijah Hood out of North Carolina. Hood rushed for 2,580 yards and 29 touchdowns on 430 carries, which was a 6 yards per carry average during his career at the University of North Carolina. Hood was drafted in the 7th round of the 2017 NFL Draft by the Oakland Raiders. Hood would have 2 stints with the Carolina Panthers as well as the Jacksonville Jaguars. During his second stint with the Panthers, he was there for 3 hours in 2019 due to them needing to open up a roster spot because of injuries to the wide receiver. Speaking of wide receivers, Katie Cannon is a big-name wide receiver that Perez will be passing to. Cannon played college football at Baylor, where he would have 195 receptions for 3,113 yards and 27 touchdowns in his career in Waco. Los Angeles will also have former Baylor safety Ahmad Dixon, who was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in the 7th round of the 2014 NFL Draft. Dixon spent time with the Vikings twice, Bears, Dolphins, CFL team Eskimos twice, and the Spring League. Another name to look out for is former New Mexico State running back Larry Rose III, who rushed for 4,558 yards and 37 touchdowns on 770 attempts, as well as 133 receptions for 1,157 yards and 5 touchdowns while at New Mexico State. Rose went undrafted in the 2018 NFL Draft and has spent time with the Titans, Rams, AAF, Arizona Hotshots, and CFL Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Los Angeles will open up their season against the Houston Roughnecks on Saturday, February 8th at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fox.